welcome back to the Michael and Trevor Show. I'm Trevor,
I'm Michael.
and today's episode we will be talking about Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning, the quote-unquote final film of the franchise.
Yep. So this movie is following up the last movie. It came out in 2023, so it took about 2
It took
years.
that long. It's been that long.
Yeah, they pushed it back a little. I'm not sure. There was
Jeez.
probably delays with other things people had going on. But I remember watching that. So The Dead Reckoning came out in 2023. So this follows it
Wow.
up. I don't think it takes place much longer, maybe a couple months after the first movie. I think they talked about that at one point. But you'll see a lot of the same main characters. Obviously, Tom Cruise is Ethan Hunt. You have Haley Atwell as Grace, and then obviously the part of the squad, Benji and Luther, Simon Pegg and is it Ving
Bing Rames,
Rhames?
yeah.
Ving Rhames, and then the villain of the movie, the first movie, and still the villain of this movie, Gabriel, who's played by Esai Morales, or however you say his name. I hope I'm saying that right. But yeah, same cast. Definitely some new faces too.
Mhm.
Thought it was a cool cast.
It was a good cast. So this movie was 2 hours and 50 minutes. In my opinion, you kind of felt a runtime a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna feel that a lot of times with a 3 hour movie. Honestly, though, I didn't. I was pretty locked into it a lot of the time. The action sequences, like I thought were really entertaining. I was like on the edge of my
They
seat,
were. And
as always.
you could definitely tell that they filmed a lot of this practically. Like
Yeah,
no CG. I mean, they definitely have CGI, and they just given what happens in the movie.
right.
But like the scenes that he was underwater or he's on an airplane,
Yeah,
it's Tom Cruise. He's going to do all the stunts practically, or the majority of them that he can.
yeah. I still don't understand how they film some of those things. Like what is actually real and what's not real. Like I guess some of the
Mhm.
shots with the planes were real or
To my
no.
knowledge, yes.
Yeah,
And then, and this is just the non-spoiler to start off. We'll talk about what actually is going on with the planes a little later in
yeah.
the podcast once we hit the spoilers part. But this movie was directed by Christopher McQuarrie,
Hmm.
who's directed a few of the other Mission Impossible movies. He also wrote Top Gun Maverick. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Okay.
So it kind of makes sense with how entertaining the movie was and how much you were on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, so he wasn't the director for Top Gun, but he wrote it.
To my knowledge, yes.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, you do see some parallels, I guess, when it comes to the planes. We're talking about planes again now.
Uh-huh.
And some of those scenes there, the action sequences, really good. But yeah, I mean, this is either the eight or nine, I should know this, the eight or ninth movie in the series. You kind of know a little bit about what you're going to get. Beginning of the movie, you got the mask, taking off the mask, and
I always love that.
yeah, when they do that. Honestly, I wasn't even 8 movies in. I was not expecting that scene for them to take off the mask. I don't
Oh, I
know.
was not expect. I'm like, oh, what's going on
It
here?
it
And
literally gets me every time they do that. But yeah, I thought that was good. And again, this is kind of going off the first movie, so
the first movie of
or
the Dead Reckoning.
yeah, the part one. I'll refer to it as part one, which came out 2 years ago. So like you kind of already knew going into it, like what was going to be happening, what they're chasing this entity that seemingly seems to be able to calculate everything that you're going to do,
Just kind of crazy.
which is kind of crazy, especially with how it results,
Hmm.
which we'll get into as spoilers too. But I mean, talk about that a little bit. I guess I'm interested your thoughts on, I guess, that being like the villain, the entity. It's like
AI.
it's not even a person.
Yeah.
It's like
So
AI. It's
spoilers.
yeah. It's kind of weird.
It is kind of weird. In my opinion, Mission Impossible has always been somewhat of a realistic spy movie.
Yeah.
With them bringing an AI and how intense it is, it kind of I'm not a huge fan of it. I'll just be
Really?
honest. I don't like it.
I will say I'm not the biggest fan, but in terms of like realistic, I mean, it is like the way AI is heading. I feel like kind of this coming out now is kind of the future you see with what AI can do in quantum computing and like who has control over it and just like how much power. Like it honestly seemed like everyone was just powerless because they always just knew your next move. Like the AI knows your fate or whatever. So I don't know. I found it interesting.
It's yeah, it's
I like
definitely
I
interesting.
like a human villain more. I guess that's why they still have the Gabriel guy. He is
Correct.
still the villain. But it is just weird that it's AI, so like you don't really see them. You don't really see it much. Like you don't hear from them because
Well,
it's just
and I will
a
say, since we
machine.
are on the spoilers part, you kind
Oh,
of
are we
do
in
see,
spoilers now?
yeah, because
Okay,
we've
we're in.
talked about what the AI is.
Okay.
Because whenever Hunt gets into that like suit thing,
Yes.
you do see it, you do hear it talk to you, and then
At
it
that
goes into
point,
your mind.
you do. So that's good they actually did that in the
Yeah,
beginning. So you
so
felt that.
I don't like the AI aspect to it, but the way that they did it, I'm okay with.
Yeah. I'm okay with. Um, but that's probably like, yeah, one of my least favorite parts
Hmm.
is, I guess, the AI, but like the power of it and I mean, basically, it's trying to destroy the world.
Yeah,
It's trying to nuke basically the whole world,
nuclear
and
warfare.
start from scratch. I don't really know the point if they ever explained like why the entity wanted to destroy the
It
world and
wanted
start
to,
from
because it
scratch.
wanted, yeah, it just wanted to have the power to create its own world.
Oh,
So it's power. Everything's power hungry, I guess.
okay, cool.
Yeah, right.
But but yeah, again for Mission Impossible, you expect a lot of good action.
Hmm.
I liked the action sequences. I could see some people saying maybe they ran a little too long. There's a couple things now that we're getting into spoilers. Was it the first Dead Reckoning where like the submarine blew up?
I believe so.
One of the
Yes.
past movies, and basically that's where the did he find the key there, or there
Yeah,
was
and there was the
the
key,
device?
the double helix key or whatever they
Yeah,
called it.
that they needed. Um, in order to, I guess, destroy the entity or whatever. So there was a good action sequence of Tom Cruise going down there just hundreds of feet deep, hoping he does not drown.
Yeah,
So that was a little bit intense. That was probably one of my favorite scenes.
that
How
scene
about
was
you?
very cool. I really liked the scene. Oh my gosh, what happened? Oh, whenever he was on the airplane. The airplane scene
Oh yeah, the
was very,
airplanes
very
are
cool.
always good because it's just like it's not realistic at all. Like you'd be falling off that plane so
Well, I
easily.
believe Tom Cruise actually did. I mean, granted, he had wires on and whatnot.
Well, yeah, but I mean like in a real life scenario. But it's Mission
It's
Impossible.
Mission
It's
Impossible.
exaggerated. But that scene there's some like comedy in it too, I feel like.
There
It's
definitely is
funny.
some comedy.
There always is though.
Absolutely.
Uh,
And every Hollywood movie nowadays, there's at least a few lines of comedy to it.
yeah. And again, this is the like eighth or ninth movie, and it gets me every time, even though like again this is spoilers when they're getting towards the end of like trying to complete whatever they're doing, somehow everyone is in like different places
Hmm.
but they're all synced together and get it to
Of
happen
course, it
right at
happens
it
perfectly.
happens like perfectly right at the right time, and they do it every movie. But
Hmm.
honestly, I it hasn't gotten stale for me. I'm always because this is the last one too, so I'm thinking in the back of my head like, is Tom Cruise gonna die or not? So
Correct.
I,
And we won't talk about
yeah,
who
we're not gonna
dies
say who dies if
or who doesn't die, but there is one large death in the
yeah,
movie. We'll
which
say
there
that.
I will say too, there usually are. The last movie did. I
Yeah.
can't even remember what her name is,
Oh,
but
it was
the woman in Dune 2.
she's going to be Mrs. Fantastic,
Yeah.
and I forgot her name.
I was wondering if they planned for her to die or if she was like, I have to film other stuff. Because that happened with Jeremy Renner's character in Ghost Protocol, I think it was. I think he was supposed to be in the next one, but he was like, I'm filming Avengers. So
Man, good
they
for
couldn't
him.
put him in the next one.
And he literally died in real life. Then he came back to
Then he
life.
came back.
But good for him.
He's okay now.
He's okay. Well,
Um, but yeah, I mean, this is whether this is a close off to the series or not. It was good. It definitely wasn't my favorite movie. For me personally, I think my favorite is Fallout or Ghost Protocol was probably my two favorites. But also, I haven't seen them for a while, so I'll have to go rewatch.
yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is this our third Mission Impossible movie that we've seen together?
Well, I remember we saw Ghost Protocol. I think that's
Yes,
the only one.
because they did the Burj Khalifa. Yeah, he jumped off the Burj Khalifa, and then
Hmm.
we saw the Ghost Protocol, or
What
the
was
Dead
that?
Reckoning,
Oh, we did see Dead. I forgot Dead Reckoning. Yeah, we saw that one in
and then we saw
2023.
the Final Reckoning.
I remember Fallout. I had actually never seen. I watched that right before Dead Reckoning, and I think that was my favorite. My favorite one had Henry Cavill in it.
Oh wow,
Uh,
that's whenever he does stuff.
Yeah.
power up with his arms.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked that one a lot. But yeah, I mean, we didn't have, I don't know, we talked about this a little bit. Like, I didn't have super high expectations. I didn't want to get my hopes up too much,
Mhm.
but I actually really enjoyed it. Again, 3 hours long, so there's maybe a couple things that ran on a little bit too long or like slow parts, but overall, I'm happy with it.
I do agree with you on that. There definitely were some slow parts to it.
Hmm.
They were long, drawn out action sequences, but I really did kind of enjoy it. I think they balanced things pretty well, in my opinion.
They balanced it well. A couple like Easter eggs or like
Yes,
bringing back things from old movies.
and they did a great job with that, but I wasn't a huge fan of the editing of it.
Okay. What about it?
So this movie ties back to all the previous movies.
Hmm.
So let's say you would have a scene that he's dropping down in the CIA, and then they do that circle out of it. It is mission. It's on brand for Mission Impossible.
Yeah, so that's how they
So that's how they do it. I'm just not a huge fan of the editing, in my opinion, but it is a classic editing. And I feel like like you go into iMovie or whatever, you can literally do that transition in
but
iMovie.
that's why they do it, I think, because it's like when the first one come out, like in the
90, I think
early
90,
90s. Oh, that long? Because
because it's the 35-year
they did
anniversary
say
of this movie.
35. Yeah, 35 years. Because we actually find out, and this is, I guess, one spoiler. We're to that
We're
point.
going to talk about one
Uh,
spoiler. We're going to make you guys go watch the movie because this movie is something you should see in the
yeah.
theater,
Well,
in my
not too
opinion.
much to spoil, but basically he talks about one character in this movie, and he says, "Yeah, we met 35 years ago," because it was actually someone you find out in this movie is someone that was actually a very minor character in like one
Mm-hmm.
scene, in I believe the first Mission Impossible, which was 35 years ago. So that was super cool to see them bring that guy and bring it all together. That was nice. So I
I
won't say who it is, but go
Right.
watch the movie.
Now, I just want to ask you this question. Do you think it is important for people to watch all of the movies before watching this, or do you think they did a good job with doing the flashbacks in the movie for casual fans or people who've only seen one or two movies to understand what's going on?
Yeah, I think it was enough. What they did, I would recommend. I always recommend seeing all the movies because everything's always going to make more sense.
Hmm.
But as long as you've seen the last one, like the part one, the most recent one, I think that's plenty. Even if you didn't see the part one, you can still get the gist of what the AI is doing. But I guess the Gabriel character, you don't know as much of his origin because there's so much that happened in the in the part one. So I would say you should definitely watch the part one before seeing a part two
Absolutely.
of a movie. But overall, I think standalone, the movie is fine just watching that one. What do you think?
Yeah, I do agree with that. I don't feel like if you were to go into this movie not knowing what happened before, I think they gave enough background information that you
Exactly.
would be like, "Oh, I understand it." Does it make perfect sense? No, but I understand what's going
Yeah,
on.
more of like the government people or his like exact team
Hmm.
with like Luther and Benji. I mean, it's good to know their lore a little bit,
Yeah,
like
and you
knowing the
create
character.
a bond with those characters.
Exactly.
Like there is a major death that happens, and whenever it happens, it kind of pulled up my heartstrings. Like, whoa, this is has some weight behind it.
Yeah. And you had a feeling something was gonna come there.
Hmm.
So that
I didn't
was
expect it that early in the movie.
yeah.
This is going to be a hot take too. I was not a huge fan of the Gabriel character at all,
No, I wasn't either. I
but
just didn't think
not
he
a
was
fan. I don't think he was a strong villain.
no, he wasn't. He just I don't know. He wasn't that intimidating to me. And anytime there'd be a fight scene, I forget if he was like a good fighter in the first movie, but like in this one, it would just be like his people handling like doing the fighting, and he'd just like run away.
Hmm.
Like he wouldn't really be that menacing or anything because I mean he is just a regular person
Correct.
without the AI. I mean, when he didn't have control of the entity in this movie.
He's just power hungry. He reminds me of the villain from um what was it? Wonder Woman 84.
Okay.
You haven't seen the movie,
Never seen
but
that.
the character reminds me of the I forgot what his name is too, and he's coming up. Anyway, if you know it, let us know in the comments because I'm having a brain fart. But he just didn't have a lot of weight behind him, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Other than that, that was a good movie. It really was a good movie. It was entertaining.
It
It
was
checks
entertaining.
off all the boxes from a Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah, I could see myself rewatching this movie. Maybe not soon. I'm not in a hurry to go see it
Correct.
again, but I could see myself in a couple years just going through all the Mission Impossibles again because it's been a
Absolutely.
while. Um, I don't know. This is. I mean, we didn't plan for this, but should we do like a little ranking, or maybe we can do like a little clip
Well,
on Reels or
let's
something?
check it out on Reels because we'll do a ranking of our favorite Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah, we'll list them 1 to 8 or
One day
9, how
or
many ever there
whatever
are.
it is. I was I'm happy I saw this movie. I in my opinion, I think the franchise should be done.
Yes.
I
I mean, Tom
believe
Cruise is, he doesn't look like it, but he's almost 70, isn't he? Isn't he like in his
I
mid
believe
60s?
yeah,
Let's click on this.
Tom Cruise, let's see,
Oh,
is
he's 62.
62.
Okay.
Still, for an action hero, and I will say all credit to Tom Cruise. In my opinion, he's the last great action hero. You
You don't
don't
think there'll be another one?
no one's gonna be hanging off the edge of a plane.
Oh, true, true, true.
No
In
one's
terms of
gonna
like wanting to
be
do their own
jumping into
stunts.
the water, you know, free diving off of things.
No, I agree with that.
Like, yes, there are great action heroes currently. Chris Pratt comes to mind, Christian Bale, but they are a lot different of actors than
Definitely.
Tom Cruise is. And, we have to be happy that we have him and just go out and support movies because large movies like this, to the scale that it is, with people doing their own stunts and everything, are going by the wayside.
Oh
It's a
yeah.
lot safer for people just to use body doubles or CGI characters,
Yeah. And
and
Tom
you
Cruise,
lose that realism, in
yeah.
my opinion.
And it's just hard. Like Tom Cruise has built up so much like respect that they let him do that. But I feel like with young actors now, if they say they want to do their own stunts and you're not a guy who's been in this space forever working with the same director with all these movies, they're just gonna be like, no, we're not allowing
Hmm.
you to do your own stunts. I bet you a lot of people aren't allowed to.
Not allowed to, or they're just too afraid
Yeah,
to.
which is fair. I
Which,
mean,
yeah,
he did. It wasn't this movie. I'm pretty sure the last one. Didn't they have to stop production because he literally broke his ankle jumping from a
yes,
building?
yes,
Yeah. So
but it's so worth it, in my opinion. So thank you, Tom Cruise, for
yeah,
putting your life on the line for our entertainment.
appreciate it, Tom.
Yes,
If you're
thank you,
listening.
Mr. Cruz. So, do you have anything else that you want to talk about with the movie? I mean, it is a Mission Impossible movie. You know what happens.
Yeah. Again, I, we talked about some spoilers, but just go watch it. Like it's the last one in the series. It's the last time you're probably going to see Tom Cruise doing. I mean, he could do more action movies, but there's only so much you can do as you get older.
Now, he
Um,
is doing the new Top Gun Maverick, or Top
yeah,
Gun 3, he will be in.
that is true. Yeah, 100%. I don't think the stunts compared to like this will be as crazy.
Mm-mm.
It'll be like doing stuff in
Airplane,
jets, which is
yeah.
pretty crazy.
Uh-huh.
But this Top Gun Maverick, and then at some point your body doesn't let you keep
Correct.
going. But who knows though? We have what's his name was. I mean, he didn't do many stunts, but who's the guy? He's pretty old. The one that was in Brave New World, the Red Hulk.
Harrison Ford.
Isn't he pretty old?
Harrison
He
Ford
wasn't
is
doing
old.
like
No,
stunts or
it's all
anything.
CGI.
Yeah.
But I love Harrison Ford. I will say I did forget Keanu Reeves.
He's getting up there in
He's
age
getting
too.
up there in
But
age.
John Wick is, I mean, he's in the ballerina movie coming up, but I think John Wick has that series is done,
I
right?
believe, to my knowledge.
Who knows? I haven't really watched them, but that's probably one of the next reviews we'll have coming. So, a couple things we have coming. What's next week?
What is next
Bring her
week?
back,
Bring
maybe?
her back. And Michael and Trevor are, I guess Michael and I'm not talking to myself in the third
Third
person,
person.
but we are going to Pittsburgh here in a few weeks, so we won't have a podcast. Or maybe we will. Who
Yeah,
knows?
who knows?
Who knows what happens, but we might take a little bit of time off, or we might not. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll try to do something.
But this is at least a great movie to do a review of. But please go see this in the theater.
Yeah,
We didn't see this in IMAX. We did see it in the largest screen at our Regal
yeah,
Cinema.
which is pretty good. Like the sound
It's a
is
large
pretty good.
screen, yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say see it in the largest screen possible because it is fantastic effects.
it is.
Set
IMAX would have been
pieces,
good.
yes. And I will all credit, they did a great job with the state, not the stage, the oh my gosh, the locations and
Oh yeah,
all the action set pieces that they put together, they did a fantastic job with.
Like it was beautiful. Yeah, like at the end when he parachuted, like just wherever he landed with the mountains and stuff, that was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Was that real? Do they actually
Oh yeah.
travel to those places to
Oh,
film that?
especially these movies.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Must be why the budget's so big.
Yeah. Plus, they were in London. They filmed in London.
Yep.
So once you're over on that side of the world, you're close to everything.
Yeah, that's true as well.
So, are we going to give our final
Yeah.
reactions
We'll
to
give
Mission
our-
Impossible: The Final Reckoning?
Yeah. So my rating for this movie, you could probably guess based on what we talked about here, but I gave it a 4 out of 5. This is the same rating I gave Dead Reckoning. If I like, it's so hard to go between 3.5, 4, and 4.5. I would probably put this one. I think I would put this one over Dead Reckoning Part One, in my opinion. What do you think?
I 100% agree. I gave this a 4.5 out of a 5, which
Okay,
is the
a 9.
same. I gave that 9 on IMDb, which is the same. I believe I gave the Dead Reckoning.
Mhm.
So I think they're pretty close. I do prefer this movie more though. This isn't a 5 due to some of the slow parts, and I'm just not a huge fan of the villains, quote
Yeah, the
unquote, in the
villains,
movie.
just the whole mission overall, like the scenes were filmed really well and like they were still intense, so like I enjoyed it enough, but just the AI I just didn't enjoy as much as some of the other missions they had
Absolutely.
in the past.
But still, go check this out
Yeah.
on IMDb. Currently, with 20,000 views or likes, I should say, it is 7.6 out of 10,
Oh wow.
which is
Okay.
pretty great.
Yeah, that's solid.
I'm just hoping that this movie does well at the box office due to the last movie not doing too well.
I'm interested to see. I mean, it seems like they promoted it a decent bit, but
But Sinners is still out, and Lilo and Stitch is
yeah.
released this week, today or
Well,
yesterday.
Sinners has been a month. I'm not too much thinking about.
They're still doing well though. Sinners.
No, I'm sure they're doing well. I mean, Mission Impossible is definitely going to do better. Honestly, though, the biggest surprise is still last week's Final Destination.
Oh,
How good-
dude, yeah, man.
Yeah, I bet you people will still be going out to see that too.
I
There's some
agree.
good stuff.
There is some good stuff. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and follow us on Spotify and our Instagram page at the Michael and Trevor Show. Check back to see what we have coming in the future for the podcast, and
Let's do it.
who knows what we have up our sleeve, right? All right. Have a great one, guys. I'm Trevor.
I'm Michael.
Have a great one.
Peace.